Hi, thank you for coming. State Representative Seth Grove, prime sponsor of Municipal Pension Reform Plan that is now being co-sponsored throughout the House of Representatives. Joining me today are Mayor Perry Heath from Carlisle Borough, Mayor Pulowski from Allentown, Bill Hawk, Lower Paxton Township Supervisor, Darrell Alderson and Bob Jensenius, York County Economic Alliance, Rick Schuttner and Amy Sturgis from the Pennsylvania Municipal League, Barb McNeese from the Allegheny Conference, and Dave Black. Thank you all for joining me. As the state entered into pension reform this session, there was one major aspect of it that was left out, and that's municipal pension reform. We have, as you can see, the chart of municipalities that are Act 47, that are stress index, no distress, and so forth. There's a lot of concern through municipalities, whether they are economically distressed or not, about the cost of pensions eating up their budgets year in and year out. So it's critical we provide some pension reform to our municipalities to obviously, protect those pensioners who are currently in the system, to make sure they have funded pension now into the future. Ensure we have adequate pensions moving forward for new employees, and provide some cost savings to townships to alleviate burdens on taxpayers, and also come up with a comprehensive method to reform multiple pension plans throughout the Commonwealth. I'll briefly go over what the legislation does, and then let some of our municipal leaders discuss what this means for their municipality. This legislation obviously deals with municipal pensions. While some municipalities are financially struggling, many local government officials see the rising pension costs forcing tough budgetary decisions. We need to give our local governments the tools needed to ensure they are financially viable now and into the future. What does this legislation do? First and foremost, it holds current public safety employees harmless. There's no changes to their pension whatsoever. If this legislation is enacted, they have a secure pension, what their pension is now, from now into the future. It does freeze the current pension system as is for those individuals, to ensure that it's not part of collective bargaining in the future. For new employees, it's the big change. It puts new employees into a cash balance plan. It's full vesting at 12 years with a partial vesting at 8. Retirement age will be 55 years old with 25 years of service. It's portable statewide, and every municipality will have the same plan. Employee or a member credit for the cash balance plan will be 6% for employee in Social Security, 9% for a member not in Social Security. Employer credit is 4.5%. Employees can also opt into a 457 plan for additional retirement benefits. Now, what is a cash balance plan? Obviously, when we were talking at the state level, you have a defined benefit and a defined compensation plan. In general, defined benefit plan provide a specific benefit at retirement for each eligible employee, while defined contribution plans specify the amount of contributions to be made by the employer toward the employee's retirement account. In a defined contribution plan, the actual amount of retirement benefits provided to an employee depends on the amount of contributions as well as the gains or losses of the account. A cash balance plan is a defined benefit plan that defines the benefit in terms that are more characteristic of a defined contribution plan. In other words, a cash balance plan defines the promised benefit in terms of a stated account balance. So each employee will have their own account within a defined benefit plan. In a typical cash balance plan, a participant's account is credited each year with a pay credit. That credits 6% for employees in Social Security, 9% for a member not in Social Security, and 4.5% for the employer. And an interest credit, which ranges between 0 and 4.5%, based on Moody's AA nominal bond rating yield for the last business day of the preceding year. Increases and decreases in the value of the plan's investments do not directly affect the benefit amounts promised to participants. Thus, the investments risks are borne solely by their employer. The unique ability of a cash balance plan is it is the only plan that provides an avenue for paying down the unfunded liability of the old plan without requiring new revenue from taxes or bonds. What does this mean? For current employees, it means pension protection and job security. Their pensions are protected as is, and ensures they have job security for the future, because the pension increases won't jeopardize whether local municipalities have to lay off fire and police protection. For future employees, it means a job future, Municipalities are able to hire new firefighters, new law enforcement officers, and maintains a great pension system. For taxpayers, it means less tax burden. It means they don't have to front the bill for escalating pension costs. For elected government officials, it means a viable solution to a budget buster. We see it at the state level, we see it at local levels. It means adding firefighters and police officers. It means keeping or increasing police coverage. Regional police departments, it means lower costs as municipalities are struggling to see if they want to cut coverage hours or eliminate police protection altogether, obviously creating even more burden on state police service throughout the Commonwealth. Sustainability, that's what this legislation is about. Financially sustainable local governments, financially sustainable pensions, sustainable public safety jobs. This is a huge win for everyone. Future employees, current employees, taxpayers, and local governments. With that, I'd like to call on Major Pulowski of Allentown to discuss what this means for the city of Allentown. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Just for the record, I'm not a major. I'm a mayor. I want to thank Representative Grove. This is obviously probably one of the most critical issues that any city faces in Pennsylvania. For us in Allentown, we're like, as you can see by this chart, like most other large cities and small cities and boroughs and across the state. This is a critical issue. Probably the biggest cost driver for us as a municipality is pensions. When I came into office in 2006, our pension costs were $6 million a year. This year it's $18 million. Next year it goes up to $21 million. The year after that it's $25 million. The year after that it's $32 million, and so on and so on. By 2015 for Allentown, our pensions are going to consume 30% of our entire general fund budget. Now, I can go from city to city, from borough to borough, and you will see varying degrees of that, but all are in pretty desperate shape. So I am really glad and thankful that Representative Grove, I want to thank him for his efforts in really crafting this bill. I'm glad that we're seeing someone finally in Harrisburg move this discussion forward. You know, we have been complaining as municipal officials, as mayors and council people across the state. We've quite honestly been upset for the lack of action that has occurred here in Harrisburg on this particular issue, because it is probably one of the, as I've said, most critical issues. Unless we fix this problem, we're going to see cities across this Commonwealth fall like dominoes on a board. The very, crux of a lot of our problems that are addressing, that are causing folks to go into Act 47 revolve around our pension costs. So I think this law is a good starting point to begin that discussion. I have met recently with leadership from the state FOP, and I know that there's common ground that we could be worked out to make a solution that the majority can support. We're going to need a broad basis of support and a willingness to compromise and work together to get a final bill that will achieve pension reform and protect middle-class workers here in Pennsylvania. And I think this bill is a great starting point, and I really look forward to being involved in these discussions going forward. Again, I want to thank Representative Grove for his effort in putting this bill forward. I know we will be probably talking a lot more in the future as we try to work through both houses here and get a consensus on something that everybody could agree upon. But he has, I thank him for his courage. I also thank him for his insight in crafting this bill, and I think it is a step in the right direction. It is, again, it's a first step, and I think, in starting this discussion moving, and I want to congratulate him and the Coalition for Sustainable Communities for really working together. The chambers have been a tremendous partner with the municipalities. It's not often that you see, cities and chambers working together, Republican, Democrats, on both sides of the issue, both sides of the aisle, working together on an issue. This is one of those issues that everybody realizes is critical for the health and success of this Commonwealth. And I want to thank all of you for being involved. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. And heading into a joint venture between business and local governments to bring sensible and realistic property taxes. Pension reform is one of my local guys, Darrell Alderson, president of the York County Economic Alliance. Darrell, thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to add my thanks to Seth and really the voice from all across the Commonwealth for really getting behind this issue. We know that something has to be done. I'm going to apologize, since speaking of voice, that I've been trying to lose my voice for the last 3 days, but it's actually making a little bit of a recovery. But if you'll bear with me, I'll get through this. And I'm here to talk from the business perspective, and that is certainly critical in our community, and the business community is very concerned with municipal pension reform. We have to come to understand, or we have come to understand, that even the best managed communities don't have the tools they need to truly hold down the often spiraling costs of pensions. In the business community, we wouldn't accept these circumstances, nor should our municipal leaders. But we all need the General Assembly to act to provide these cost-controlling tools. And Representative Grove's pension reform proposal is a bold step in the right direction. This legislation will maintain the fiscal integrity of pension programs that so many employees count on for their retirement. As business leaders concerned with economic development, we know that when our communities struggle, when they fall into distress status or Act 47 oversight, it becomes increasingly difficult to attract and retain businesses and to have economic progress. So as the national economy begins to show signs of awakening, we don't want the fiscal strain on Pennsylvania's municipal governments to stunt a full recovery in Pennsylvania. We must act. No one wants to live, work, or grow a business in a community that is being pressured to cut services and raise taxes. While our cities tend to be the front line of the pension crisis, these problems are not just city problems. In fact, at least one municipality in 66 of the 67 counties in Pennsylvania is in severe distress. This includes rural townships and boroughs as well. In total, about 1/3 of all Pennsylvanians live in a distressed community. I'm joined today by business leaders and elected officials from around the state, and they know what I know, that the uncontrollable cost of municipal pensions is not just a problem for our city in York, but it's a problem for all of Pennsylvania. And I'm very pleased to see that there is so much participation here, and I want to commend Representative Grove for his courage and leadership in taking up this critical issue, and I want to encourage his colleagues in the House to join this effort with the backing of the Coalition for Sustainable Communities. And I want to thank Dave Black for kind of getting me involved in this whole effort and recognizing that now is the time to act. So we really have to do something, and thank you, Seth, for your leadership, and let's get it done.
Thank you so much. And this is just a city issue. One of my local municipalities had a meeting discussing their police pension increases for a regional police department about 2 years ago. I attended to hear the concerns of those supervisors with increased costs moving forward. Mayor, did you want to say a few words? I think he has a great story. Mayor Perry Heath of Carlisle, which is not a financially distressed municipality, but a great insight. Appreciate you being here.
Representative, thank you very much. I think that the mayor of Carlisle would not be appreciative called Perry Heath, because I'm actually the president of Carlisle Borough Council. But having said that, I don't want to be too redundant to what was said, except to be the example of the smaller community that's very concerned about the pension crisis that we have that's right around the corner. If you liken it to a train coming down the tracks, while we are not a distressed community at this point, we know, and I can echo what Mayor Pulaski said from Allentown, that we know that the increasing obligation for our pension costs are in fact going to drive us to make one of two choices, either to raise taxes significantly or to also either significantly cut back on services. And we believe that we've cut back services as far as we can. So therefore, without cutting to the bone or raising taxes, we need to have reform. I think that the proposal that Seth has put forward is one that's very realistic. It's one that we support, and it's one that we look forward to having in our toolbox so that we can manage our revenues and our services as effectively and as efficiently as we can. It's not just a budget issue. It truly is a public safety issue, because with our public safety budget representing better than half of our general fund, we understand that you have to go to where the largest users of the resources are. And we don't want to cut back on public safety, yet we want to make sure that our employees all retain excellent pension benefits. That's what they've been accustomed to. It's one of our greatest recruiting tools that we have. And at the same time, we believe that this plan offers a good pension provision going forward, and at the same time helps us fund that unfunded liability that, even though we're not distressed, we continue to have in the small borough of Carlisle. So, Seth, thank you very much for your leadership and your creativity in putting this proposal forward. We look forward to working with you.